All right, good afternoon. It is April 27th. You are here with the afternoon group. I am teaching Miss Hendricks' homeroom right now. This is what we're going to work on in class today. These are all the different dividing decimal scenarios. If you don't have this piece of paper at your house because you are homesick or home quarantining, get out a piece of paper, divide it into 8 sections, and write the problems. Pause it right now, write them so that you can do this along with us. Okay. I gave you guys a dividing decimals quiz today, and the majority of you at home failed it impressively. So that shows me that we have to do some more learning. So let's get started. This was 335 and 8/10 divided by 4. And we said that we don't have to move the decimal because the decimal is already behind the 4 in the divisor. So let's go. 4 divides into 3, no times. 4 divides into 33, 8 times. Aaliyah, what's 8 times 4? 32. I'm going to put it underneath here and I'm going to subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1. Then I'm going to bring down the 5. Alyssa, how many 4s are in 15? That is correct. I'm going to put 3 right here. 3 times 4 is 12. And when I subtract, Dylan, what's 15 minus 2? It is 3. Now I'm going to bring down the 8. Abby, how many 4s are in 38? There are 9. I'm going to put the 9 right here. What's 9 times 4, Abby? 36. Now, listen to me carefully. You cannot have a remainder when you are dividing decimals. So you've got to keep dividing. What do I divide, Miss Ross? Put a 0 right here and drop it down. You are it's called annexing a 0. You are adding an additional 0 and dropping it down. CJ, how many 4s are in 20? 5. Put the 5 right here, multiply back. 5 times 4 is 20. And when you do that, you get a 0. Okay? So now we don't have a remainder. All you got to do now is take your decimal on an elevator ride. Bloop, 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 bloop. Very good. And now let's write this down. The answer is, you can forget about this 0. You don't need it. The answer is 83 and 95 hundredths. So what that is saying is if I had $335.80 and I divided it into 4 equal parts, each person would get $83.95, which makes sense, right? It's a good estimate. All right, here we are. CJ has $62 and he wants to divide it between 8 friends. Let's write it down. So 62 is what's being divided. That is the dividend. That's what he has. And he's dividing it between 8 people. Now remember, in both of those decimals, both of those numbers, the decimal is already at the back, isn't it? Because they're whole numbers. So the decimal is right behind the whole number. Now we can divide. All right, Eachin, how many 8s are in 6? There are none. Good. Eachin, how many 8s are in 62? 7. Eachin, what is 7 times 8? Very good. And when you subtract, you get 6. But Abby, I said you cannot have a remainder when you're dividing decimals, right? So Abby, what do I do? Very good. This is called annexing a 0. Add a 0 here and drag that sucker down. So my new number is 60. Charlotte, how many 8s are in 60? There are 7. Put your 7 up here. What's 7 times 8, Charlotte? Subtract So I've got 60 minus 56, and what do I get, Charlotte? Ten minus 6 is? Very good. Now, Charlotte, I've said it over and over and over again. Can I have a remainder? So what do I have to do? Very good. Annex another 0. Put a 0 up here and drag it down. So the new number I'm dividing into is 40. Charlotte, how many 8s are in 40? Very good. Put your 5 up top. What's 5 times 8? Very good. And now I don't have a remainder. And the last thing you have to do is take your decimal on an elevator rod. So we said CJ had $62 and he's dividing it between 8 kids. Each kid is going to get $7.75. Does that make sense? Okay, that is how you divide decimals with annexing zeros. It is really, it's kind of difficult, so you're going to need to be paying very close attention. All right, now Alvaro. Alvaro spent all his money. He bought Pop-Tarts, okay? And all he's got left is he's got $1.44 left to divide between his 4 friends. So here we go. Does y'all say 4 or 9? I think it's supposed to be a 9. All right, so Alvaro has $1.44 to divide between his 9 friends. Bless Alvaro. That's not going to give people a whole ton of money, but we're going to do it anyway. Here we go. All right, so the dividend, that is what is being divided, is $1.44. And Alvaro is dividing that between 9 people. So he's going to put a 9 right here. Now remember, in the 9, the decimal is there. Just because it's not there doesn't mean it's not there. It's already behind the whole number, right? So there's nothing that needs moving, is there? All right, let's do it. Ben, how many 9s are in 1? Very good. Ben, how many 9s are in 14? What's 1 times 9? Put it underneath the 14. When I subtract, I get a 5. Now what, Ben? Very good. What's the new number that I'm working with? Very good. How many 9s are in 54, Ben? Put a 6 here. 6 times 9 is 54, and subtract. Now, Ben, what is the last step in dividing decimals?
The decimal goes on an elevator rod.
Very good. Elevator rod up. Bloop, 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 bloop. All right, so when Alvaro takes his $1.44 and he divides it between his 9 friends, each one of his friends is going to get how many cents? 16 cents. Very good. Alvaro. That's okay. We love you anyway, even though you're not giving us as much money. All right, here we go. Next one. All right. Now, this is 78 divided into 5/10. Now, Aaliyah, where is the decimal on 78 currently? Where is it right now? Very good. Come up here and put a decimal at the back of 78, okay? You're going to want to put that in before you go moving decimals. Does that make sense, Sin? Next one. Here we go. Bola, where do I have to move this decimal right here? Very good. I'm going to move it behind the 5 one place. I'm moving it to the back of the 5. And if I move this decimal, I got to do this decimal as well. So I'm going to move it back. What goes in that hole, Maya? Of 0. Guys. So I have 780 now is being divided by 5. Maya, you're up. Maya, how many 5s are in 7? What's 1 times 5? 7 minus 5. Bring down the 8. Maya, how many 5s are in 28? 5 times 5 is? When I subtract, I get a? Bring down the new number is? How many 5s are in 30? 6 times 5. When I subtract, I get a 0. And the last thing I have to do is I have to take my elevator, my decimal, where my new decimal is, and elevator ride it up. Bloop, 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 bloop. Bing. So my answer is 156 with the decimal at the back. That is also known as just plain 156. All of you, your birthday, I mean the age you are has a decimal at the back. So if you're 10, you're 10 decimal. If you're 8, you are 8 decimal. If you are 12, you are 12 decimal. All whole numbers have a decimal at the back of them. All right, next one. I'm going to come here and do 108 divided by 3 6/10. So here I go. Dylan, before I divide this, what do I have to do? Well, first off, Dylan, where's the decimal on 108? Very good. Put it in there. All right. Now, Dylan, I can't have a divisor with a decimal in the middle. Where do I have to move it to? Very good. I'm going to move it behind the 6. Now, if I move this one, I got to move this one. So, Piper, when I move it over one place, what goes in the hole? Very good. All right, Dylan, you're up. Dylan, how many 3s are in, how many 36s are in 1? How many 36s are in 10? How many 36s are in 108? Good. 3 times 36 is 108. When you subtract, you get a 0. Bring down that 0. If it's up there, you got to bring it down. And if you bring it down, you got to play with it. How many 36s are in 0? There are 0. 0 times 36 is 0. And when you subtract, you get a 0. So last thing you're going to do, bloop, 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 bloop. Bing. So your answer is 30 with a decimal at the back, also known as just plain 30. All right. Sydney, before I divide this one, what do I have to do? Very good. I'm going to move it 1, 2 places. Sydney said move it behind the 5. And Sydney, if I move this 2 places, how many places I got to move that decimal? Good. 1, 2. I'm going to put it behind the 2. Then what I would really like you to do is to just come up here and cross off these zeros right here in front of the 5. You don't need them anymore. So now what you're doing is you're dividing 2 by 5. So here we go. How many 5s are in 0, Alvaro? Very good. How many 5s are in 0, Alvaro? Alvaro, how many 5s are in 2? Very good. But I can't have a remainder, so I'm going to annex a 0. Alvaro, how many 5s are in 20? Just put your 4 right here and bloop, 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 bloop. Bing! That's it. Miss Ross, really? Yes, that's it. Just keep going until you can divide into it. I told you there was going to be all kinds of different scenarios I was going to teach you, the different ways that this crazy mess can look. All right, here we go. CJ, before I divide 22 hundredths into 48 and 62 hundredths, what do I have to do? Very good. 1, 2, bing. Got to do it on the other side. 1, 2, bing. All right, here I go. And what I'm going to do to help me is I'm just going to list out a couple of multiples of 22. Okay, just in case I need them. All right, here we go. Let's do Emily. Emily, how many 22s are in 4? None. Emily, how many 22s are in 48? 2 is correct. Emily, what is 2 times 22? 44. So 48 minus 44 is 4. Then I'm going to bring down the 6. What's my new number I'm working with, Em? Very good. So Emily, 22 divided into 46 goes in how many times? Very good. 2 times 22 is? Very good. And when I subtract, I get 2. Keep going. Bring down the 2. Emily, how many 22s in 22? 1. 1 times 22 is 22, and when you subtract, you get a 0. All right, last thing, elevator ride. So your answer is 221 with a decimal behind it, or 221. It's the same thing. Yes, CJ. After we finish the word problems on the back, certainly. All right, flip to the back. All right, we are flipping to the back. Actually, CJ, go quick. You got 20 seconds. Go, go, go. All right. So now you're going to need a piece of graph paper. I'm going to pause this and get a piece of graph paper. Welcome back. Everybody in class went and got graph paper. We're going to do these all together. Here we go. Miss Jackson's car used 3.3 gallons of gasoline this week. She drove a total of 56.4 miles, 56 4/10 miles. If the car got the same gas mileage for the entire trip, how many miles did the car travel for each gallon of gasoline? So this is dividing. You're dividing the total into 3 1/3 gallons because they gave you the total. So here we go. You are going to write 56 4/10. That is what is being divided. Those are the total miles. And you are going to divide it by 3 3/10. Now, Eachin, before I can divide, what do I have to do? Good. Move the decimal behind the 3. And if I move it on this side, I got to move it on this side. I'm going to move this decimal behind the 4. So now my decimals are in the correct place. I'm going to just kind of list out a couple of multiples of 33, and I'll go from there. All right, here we go. Bola, how many 33s are in 5? How many 33s are in 5? Very good. Put a 0 there. Bola, how many 33s are in 56? Very good. Put your 1 right there. 1 times 33 is 33. And when Bola subtracts, he gets 6 minus 3 is 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. And then he's going to bring down the 4. All right, I'm going to hook you guys up. I'm going to use my calculator on this. Miss Ross, are you serious? Yes. All right, Charlotte, what number would you like to try? 33 into 234. What do you want to try? All right, Charlotte wants to try 6. 33 times 6 is not big enough. All right, 33 times 7 is 231. Perfect. All right, so put 7 up here. 7 times 33 is 231. Charlotte, am I allowed to have a remainder? No. So what do I have to do? Add a 0 and pull it down. All right. Ander, how many 33s are in 30? 0. 0 times 33 is 0. And when you subtract, you get 30, right? Yep. you get 30. I'm not allowed to have a remainder. So what do I have to do, Bola? Grab another 0. Draw a 0 up there and pull another one down. So now I've got 300. All right. How many 33s are in 300? I'm going to go 300 divided by 33 is, goes in 9 times. Put a 9 up here. 9 times 33 is, 9 times 33 is 297. 9 times 33 is 297. Did I do something wrong, guys?
Keep on going. No, you probably
Is 3.
We're back. That's about it. It's in a loop.
But it's working itself into a loop now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what this is called at this point is it's called a repeating decimal. So 0 times 33 is 0, and when you subtract, you get a 30. So what that's called is that's called repeating. So what you're going to do is you're just going to end it. So 17, and we're going to draw our decimal going up. Bloop, 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 bloop. All right, and so your answer is going to be 17 and 9/100. Guys, please remember it's being recorded and don't embarrass me. So she's getting 17 and 9/100 to the gallon. Okay? All right, so that is, I'm going to write that right here, 17 and 9/100 is how many miles she's able to get per gallon. That makes about sense. She must have like a Suburban or something. All right, let's go number 2. All right, number 2. Sorry, I'm looking at something. Okay, that's good. All right, number 2. Ryan has 19 and 54 ounces of water in her cup. She drinks the same amount of water for 5 hours. How much does she drink each hour? So I've got, let's write it down. What's being divided, my dividend, is 19 and 54 hundredths. And I'm dividing that over 5 hours. Let's see how much she drinks each hour. Okay, I don't have to do any moving of decimals because my decimal is already behind the 5. So here I go. How many 5s are in 1? There are none. How many 5s are in 19? There are 3. 3 times 5 is 15. When you subtract, you get a 4. Bring down the 5. Alvaro, how many 5s are in 45? Very good. 9. Jacob, what's 9 times 5?
45.
And when I subtract 45 from 45, what do I get?
0.
Very good. Now I'm going to bring down my 4. Jacob, how many 5s are in 4?
4.
Try again. If I have 4, how many times can I take 5 out of it?
0.
None. Good. 0 times 5 is 0. When you subtract, you get a 4. Alex, I am not allowed to have a remainder, so what do I have to do? Nope. I put a 0 up here, and then I pull it down, right? That's called annexing a 0. Now, Emily, how many 5s are in 40? There are 8. 8 times 5 is 40. And then my decimal goes on an elevator ride. So my answer is, guys, my answer is that she drinks 3 and 908 thousandths of a gallon. I mean, of an ounce, sorry. 3 and 908, because you got to take your decimal up. All right, number 3. I'm going to flip. Number 3. Here we go. A factory has 3,195 ounces of juice to package into individual boxes. Each juice box holds 7.1 ounces of juice. How many juice boxes can you make? So, guys, that is not a comma. I mean, not a decimal, that's a comma. So write down 3195. That is your dividend. That's what you're dividing into. And you're dividing it by 7 and 1/10. Okay. Now, Sid, before I can divide, what do I have to do? Good. And if I move the decimal behind the 1 here, I have to move this decimal as well. So I'm going to move it over one place. And Sid, what goes in the empty hole? A 0. Here we go. All right, Sydney, here we go. And I'm going to help you out with my calculator on this one. All right, here we go. Sydney, how many 71s are in 3? There are none. How many 71s are in 31? There are none. Okay. All right, Piper, what number do you want me to try for 71? All right, Piper says try 4. 71 times 4 is, that looks like a good one. Let's do it. Put your 4 up here. 4 times 71 is 284. I'm going to subtract. 9 minus 4 is 5. Have to borrow. 11 minus 8 is 3. Then I'm going to move down my 5. All right. Let's see. Ben, what number times 7 do you want to try for 355? Times 71, I mean. He says 5, which makes sense because what's 7 times 5? 35, right? So let's try it. 71 times 5 is, bang, 355. So we're going to put 7 up here. 7 times 71. Oh, no, sorry. 5 times 71. My bad, Ben. 5 times 71 was 355. And then I'm going to subtract and get a 0. Then I'm going to bring down my 0. Charlotte, how many 71s are in 0? 0. 0 times 71 is 0. When I subtract, I get a 0. Last thing, take your new decimal and bling, 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 bling. Bing. All right, so the factory can make 450 boxes of juice because your decimal is here. So, or we could just write 450. Anyone? All right, let's keep going. All right, 1 pound. This I actually like to know. I'm trying this diet right now, and I'm on a Facebook support group, and these ladies are always talking about their weight in kilograms. They're like, oh, I weigh 80 kilograms. And I'm like, how many pounds is that? Okay. So here's how you figure it out, Bola. You're going to take 81 and 36 kilograms, and you're turning it into pounds by dividing it by 4/500 kilograms. Okay, that will turn it into pounds. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to write decimal 45 here. All right. Now, Bola, before I divide, what do I have to do? Okay, good. Move your decimals behind the 5. So I moved it 2 places. I'm going to do the same thing here. Move it over 2 places. So my decimal is behind the 5, and back here it's behind the 6 now. And now I'm ready to divide. All right, how many 45s are in 81? There is 1. And I'm going to go fast now so y'all can so we can get this done before class ends. This is 1. Charlotte, 1 times 45. Very good. And when I subtract, I can't. So I have to, 11 minus 5 is 6. 7 minus 4 is 3. Then bring down the 3. All right. Ander, what number do you want to multiply 45 by? What do you want to try? 5. Okay, she says 45 times 5, not near big enough. Okay, 45 times 5 gave us that. Try something else, Ander. 45 times what? 8. 8? Yeah, that'll work. 45 times 8 is 360. Put an 8 up here. 8 times 45 is 360. When I subtract, I get a 3. bring down the 6. Ander, how many 45s are in 36? Can't do it. Put a 0. 0 times 45 is 0, and when you subtract, you get 36. Ben, am I allowed to have a remainder? No. Drop a 0 and pull it down. Well, Ben, we already know 360 divided by 45 was how much? Very good, 8. Put your 8 right here. 8 times 45 is 360. All right, so take your decimal on an elevator ride. Bling, 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 bling. Bing. So the next time I'm on my Facebook group and some lady tells me that she weighs 81 and 36 kilograms, how many pounds is she? 180.8, okay? We are not going to body shame. No, no, no. 108. You don't know. She might be 8'2". Okay? She might be as skinny as a beanpole, and she's just very, very tall. So please don't body shame people. All right, here we go. So that is 180 and 8 pounds. 0.8 of a pound. All right, we got one more to get through. All right, this is an easy one. A company took some people to dinner. The total cost of the dinner was $161, and that was divided between 14 people. All right, so where is the decimal at right now? It is there, and this decimal is right there. All right, here we go. Alvaro, how many 14s are in 1? Thank you. Alvaro, how many 14s are in 16? 1. 1 times 14 is 14. When you subtract, you get a 2. Bring down the 1. Alvaro, how many 14s are in 21? There is 1. 1 times 14 is 14. When you subtract, you get a 7. Now, Alvaro, am I allowed to have a remainder? No, I got to annex a 0 and drop it down. All right, Alvaro, let's see. How many 14s are in 70? There are 5. 5 times 14 is 70. When I subtract, I get a 0. And then elevator ride. Bloop, 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 bloop. So how much did each person pay? Now this is what's tricky. If I ask you for 11 and 5/10 of a dollar, how much money am I asking you for? Who said that? Yes, Dylan. If I am asking you for $11 and 5/10 of another dollar, that is $11.50. That's how much each person would pay. All right, kids at home, make sure that you have all this down. Love you. Bye.